Teacher Talking Sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And I've said in previous videos how my favorite NFL writer has to be Bill Barnwell of ESPN. During the offseason, he really only writes about one article a week. Usually during the season, it's two. Most of them are ESPN Plus, so if you don't have that, unfortunately, you can't read them. They're often fairly lengthy, but they're definitely always a good read. I normally don't share them if I do videos on them because they're ESPN Plus, but we're going to get into the one he did today. So the NFL team wide receiver, tight end, running back rankings for 2023. So taking a closer look at the playmakers for each of the NFL's 32 teams, and he ranked them. So some things he mentions only about on field performance for the 2023 season. Injury history and suspensions matter. Wide receivers are weighted more heavily than running backs or tight ends. He mentions how wide receivers, the high end contracts are definitely higher, and you see more 17 million plus guys at wide receiver than you do at tight end or running back. I mean, McCaffrey makes the most at running back, 16 million a year. The focus is on elite players and a team's top 5 contributors, and efficiency matters. So let's get into it. Quickly discuss his top 10, and then at the end I'll run through 11 through 32 really quick. So let's get into it. So keep in mind, this is minus the quarterback. This rankings have nothing to do with the quarterback. And he also did mention that pretend these guys had, teams had an average offensive line and average offensive coordinator. So let's get into it. I meant to start with 10 to 6. Uh, there we go. 10 to 6. Well, now you know 5 through 1. But anyhow, 10, the Atlanta Falcons, up from 27th last year. You may think, Drake London, Kyle Pitts didn't exactly put up big numbers last year. Pitts really hasn't lived up to his high draft pick yet, but he was hurt much of last season. And keep in mind, the Falcons threw the ball less than anyone. If you through the amount of times, let's say, the average team threw, Drake London's stats would look much better. And Tyler Algier was awesome as a rookie, and now they added Bijan Robinson, who many people think might be the top producing running back in fantasy this year. Only time will tell. Ninth, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were 28th last year. Evan Engram was a nice surprise for them. Christian Kirk performed well, really his first year as a wide receiver one. Travis Etienne had a solid rookie season, and now they got Calvin Ridley back. What kind of Calvin Ridley will we see after he was suspended all of last season? Eighth, the Miami Dolphins, up one from ninth last year. A lot of that is due to their wide receiver duo of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who were both dynamic. They don't really have a pass catching tight end, especially with Gesicki moving on to the New England Patriots. Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, okay running backs, but you got to think they may rise up his rankings if they were to sign Dalvin Cook. We'll see what happens there. Seventh, the Dallas Cowboys, up from 11th last year, so up 4 spots. CeeDee Lamb had 1,359 yards and 9 touchdowns last season. They did not have that wide receiver too, though, as Michael Gallup struggled in his recovery from a torn ACL. But they traded for Brandon Cooks, guy who's had, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 1,000 yard receiving seasons. He'll be a very solid wide receiver too for them. Tony Pollard, let's see. I still think they might sign another running back. They just never seem to believe Tony Pollard could get a full timeshare at running back. Do they bring Zeke back and give Pollard the lion's share of the carries? We shall see. Sixth, the Minnesota Vikings, down 2 spots from fourth. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with them losing Dalvin Cook. Alexander Madison will be the number one running back. We've seen him succeed in games that Dalvin Cook has been injured, so he has proven himself. Of course, a lot of this ranking has to do with Justin Jefferson. They lost Adam Thielen, who's kind of on the decline at this point, but took Jordan Addison in the first round. KJ Osborne, a solid wide receiver 3 for the Vikings, and TJ Hawkinson, probably a top 5 tight end in football, at the worst, top 8. And here are the top 5 teams, according to Bill Barnwell. Fifth, the Chargers, up 1 from 6th last year. Austin Eckler, of course, one of the most dynamic running backs. Their problem is Keenan Allen and Mike Williams is a great top 2 when they are both on the field. Keenan Allen has missed a decent amount of time with a variety of injuries. Mike Williams has been slowed by injuries, but they did add Quentin Johnson in the first round. Gerald Everett at tight end. We'll see how he does. He actually was fairly good last season. Seahawks up 9 to 4th. Of course, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, continuing to be one of the more productive duos at wide receiver. Now they got Jackson Smith and Jigba. So that's an awesome trio of wide receivers. Kenneth Walker was the runner-up for Offensive Rookie of the Year last season. And now they got Jack Charbonnet in the second round. Tight end, Noah Fant. I expected him to do more than he did. But still, excellent set of playmakers. Third, the Eagles, up 5 from 8th last year. AJ Brown, what a first season with the Eagles. Devonta Smith saw improvements in his second season in the league. Yes, they lost Miles Sanders for 2 guys who have been somewhat injury plagued in their careers, but DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny, I think if they were to stay healthy or relatively healthy, if one of them could stay healthy, they could possibly be an upgrade over Miles Sanders. We've seen both of them be very successful when they are on the field, and they still got Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell. Second, the Bengals, down from first last year. Another dynamic duo, wide receiver, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Tyler Boyd has proven to be one of the best third receivers in the game. Tight end, iffy, Irv Smith. He had his injury problems with the Vikings. Joe Mixon seems to be slowing down a little bit, and they did lose Samaje Perine. And first, up 2 from last year, the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, when Barnwell did this last year, they did not have Christian McCaffrey yet, traded for him. So now you got McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell at running back, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, duo at wide receiver, and George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the game. Don't necessarily have a problem with them being ranked first overall. So there are the top 10. I'll quickly name 11 through 32. So we'll start at 11 with the Las Vegas Raiders, 12th Cleveland Browns, 13th Pittsburgh Steelers, 14th New Orleans Saints, 15th Baltimore Ravens, 16th Detroit Lions, 17th Chicago Bears, 18th Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 19th Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, reigning Super Bowl champs, but remember, no Patrick Mahomes included on that. Travis Kelce is a beast, wide receiver. No clear-cut top receiver. 20th Buffalo Bills. 21st Washington Commanders. 22nd New York Jets. 23rd Los Angeles Rams. 24th Denver Broncos. 25th Indianapolis Colts. 26th New England Patriots. 27th New York Giants. That's my squad. It seems a little low, but I get it because another team without a standout wide receiver. 28th Green Bay Packers, 29th Tennessee Titans, 30th Arizona Cardinals, 31st Carolina Panthers, and for the third straight season, Bill Barnwell has ranked the Houston Texans dead last. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with from Bill Barnwell's team, wide receiver, tight end, running back rankings for 2023? Definitely suggest you give it a read over on ESPN if you have ESPN Plus. I enjoy all his articles though. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications.